Hey everyone, I thought I'd just do a update of what's been going on for the past few months in the fish room. So here we go. So this is actually my largest freshwater tank. So this is a 29-gallon planted tank, and honestly, it's regressed a little bit from last time. It looked better, but it's because I was dealing with green water, and I finally corrected the issue. I know it looks kind of green in this, I don't know, in the camera, but in real life, it's pretty clear. So yeah. So basically what happened is, I'm not sure why, but I had like a big green water problem. So the water just all turned green. So, and it looked just really bad, and it kind of caused a lot of my plants to die. So this was a full nice, like a bunch of stems and of rotala that were really nice, but those all died. I'm not too worried about it, honestly. It's fine. Like that was a really finicky plant to begin with, and I removed all of the Ludwigia that I had in here. I moved it all to the shrimp tank, so yeah. And wisteria is doing fine, I guess. I mean, it's a little bit worse and thinner than before, but it'll come back in a couple months. I started using fertilizers and things again, so it'll do well. So the fish in here, I have one cardinal tetra. I had more before, but I lost them for some reason. I have no idea why. But this was a few months ago. I had two last time. Other one jumped out. I think I had two last time anyway. So I have one right now. And I have a pair of Apistogramma cockatoides. So this one's actually like a orange flash, I think. This female. And she's actually in breeding colors. They're probably going to spawn tomorrow. They've been spawning a couple times. So they spawned twice, actually. And I didn't pull the fry out hoping that she'd raise them, but she's had some problems with that. So I'll give her one more shot. If she fails again, then I will rear them myself. So if you guys want to see a video of that, please subscribe. And hopefully I can successfully raise some Apistogrammas. So yeah. I also have this discus in here, so he's doing good. He's a wild type discus. I'm not sure where he was, but he's a captive bred one that I got online. He's been doing really good. So I actually had some rams in here, a pair of electric blue rams. One of them died shortly after I got him, and then the other one just kind of withered away for no reason. I'm pretty confused by it because my water quality is really good, but I don't know. That's kind of what happens, I guess. I've had a lot of bad luck with rams. You know, they spawn and then they just go downhill for some reason. I'm not sure why. But there's the male Apistogramma. I have one Celestial Pearl Danio, but this is actually not. I bought it as a Celestial Pearl Danio, but then it's an Erythromicron. So I'm spawning the other Celestial Pearl Danios in a smaller tank I have, but this one right here is just like the odd one out. I didn't want to hybridize them, so yeah. And all these rainbows I bred myself. I started with one pair, and then the female jumped out, so, and then they spawned a bunch actually, and then I got all these fry and I'm just growing them out. I don't know, they're fine, I guess, but they take forever. Oh man, I spawned these probably in February, and they're like finally like an inch and a half in size. Like this one right here is probably the largest one, and he's just barely an inch and a half, but they're really cool. I don't know, I probably have 30 of them in this tank. I will probably be getting rid of them soon, but I might spawn some more just for fun. I don't know, I have a lot of time in my hands right now, so maybe I'll do that. And I have 3 of these Brigitae rasboras. And this is where the Apistogrammas have been spawning. So I made this like makeshift cave thingy. So there's, just so I can see what's going on, I have put this little clay pot thing, and they go and spawn in there, and it kind of tricks them because it looks really secure and stuff. There's nothing in the way, but I can see what's going on, which just, it makes it easier for me because I've had all these rocks and I just like piled them all up. Most of the plants have been doing good. Most of the crypts are fine. Just some of the stem plants that look kind of thin right now, but other than that, it's doing good, I guess. So just have a bunch of this dwarf sag. I actually don't know what crypt this is. I forgot, but yeah, there's some random crypt. And then this is just like a bronze crypt. And then I have the, I think, Crypt Petchy, the green one right there. That one's not growing as well, but you know, I'm not too bothered by it. And I have some Java Fern. It's growing really slow, honestly. I thought Java Fern would be easier and it'd grow faster, but it grows really slow. And I have this Anubias that I broke off my large piece of an Anubias in a different tank. So that's been doing good. So I have this moss right here. I don't know, it just appeared and it's been growing well, so I've been leaving it alone. The pink flamingo crypts look really sad right now. They haven't been getting enough light because of the green water. So I just fixed the green water probably a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, and now stuff's starting to grow back, so you can see all the new growth on the water wisteria. And here's some more of the Crypt Petchy. So this is my 29 gallon planted tank, and I'll show you guys the rest of the tanks in a sec. Okay, so this is the second tank. So this is just a 10 gallon shrimp tank, basically. I set this tank up in November of last year. RO water. I just use RO water. I just set it up. And I have Fluval shrimp stratum. And that's basically how you breed shrimp, honestly. And leave it alone. And patience. That's it. RO water, pH buffering substrate, and leaving it alone. But that's basically all I've done. I started with about 10 of these in January. And now I have a lot. And I've already sold about 50 of them out of here. And I have a lot. So these are actually really nice. They're super hardy as well. I got them locally to me here. And they breed really nice. And I have some Blue Bolt Misuras as well. That was a male that I bought from the store. Specifically because I wanted to get that gene into the Blue Bolts I have right now. But yeah, this tank's doing pretty good. I don't do any water changes in this tank. I haven't done a single one since I set it up. All I do is top off the tank with RO water. And I basically monitor the mineral levels with the snail shells. You can see right here how the snail shell is a little bit like white and clear. That's how you kind of want it to be. If it gets too white or too like see-through and the snails all start dying, then I know that the mineral levels are too low. So then I add a little bit of tap water in. But other than that, this tank's really easy. Like I just have a ton of shrimp in here and a bunch of plants. So this is just Java moss. I have a bunch of Ludwigia that I used to have in the 30 gallon tank, but I switched it over to this tank because I needed more cover for the shrimp. And all these little fish you see swimming around are just celestial pearl danios. So they're all probably a month old or a little bit younger than that. But I'm breeding them in the next tank I'll show you guys. So yeah, I probably have 5 of them around this size and another. Sorry for my finger, but yeah, probably another 5 or 10 that are a little bit smaller. So I've been breeding them in this tank right here, which I will go over in a sec. So yeah, so what I'm trying to do, my goals for this tank are basically to breed more shrimp, like really nice blues, and then like higher grade blue Misuras, like that one right there. That's basically my goal. That's what I want. All of them to be like the one smack in the middle of the screen. So yeah, and a lot of them are really nice, honestly. I've been culling pretty heavy, so I basically sold all the ones I didn't really want. And if you guys want any, just email me. I'll put my email down below if you guys want any of these shrimp or basically anything in the fish room. Just let me know. Email me and we can work something out. I can ship them out to you. So yeah, I don't know. There's just a bunch of plants in here. This is just dwarf sedge. It grows like a weed. I stuck like 2 little shoots in here, and now I have like a bunch that's spread all over the tank. But it looks nice, and I'm not too worried about it. It's all the way over here too. And this is just a giant clump of Java moss, like the wall of Java moss that all the shrimp hide under. So yeah, and here's the celestial pearl danios. There's also some tiny ones in the back. I don't know if you can see them. I think you can see them. They're like right at the top of the water. And there's a random shrimp flying around. But this tank's really easy. It's low maintenance. This is probably my easiest tank, and it looks really nice. And they're super easy. Honestly, Caridina shrimp are really easy. They're just like cherry shrimp. They're the same thing as cherry shrimp, except they just require different parameters. They breed just as fast. They're just as easy. They look just as nice. I don't know. They're very, very simple for me. So yeah. So here is the third tank. So this is like a 7 gallon, like tiny, just random tank that my friend gave me. He was done with it, so I was like, sure, I'll take it. In here I just have. So here's actually a celestial pearl danio that I bred myself. Sorry for the focus. It's really hard to take good video of this tank because it's like a really weird style tank. It's like a hexagon tank, like a half hexagon. So yeah, so here's one of the females. And this cup is basically how I breed the shrimp. So I mean, not the shrimp. Why would the shrimp need a cup? Okay, no. The celestial pearl danios. So if you guys want to learn how to breed celestial pearl danios, I'll stick a thing in the description below on how I do it. But basically, this cup is where they spawn. So all this moss, they spawn in the moss. And since their eggs are not adhesive, they fall into the cup. And I just pulled the cup out, and it works really well. So yeah, right in this tank I have a few juveniles that are just I'm trying to grow out, and then a trio of them, a trio of adults, 2 females and 1 male, that I've just been breeding out. And I have a couple of these shrimp, which are very pesky. I have to pull them out and throw them in a different tank, because they've been eating all the eggs in here, because they figured out that the eggs always go in here, and then they just eat them, which really sucks. But I don't know, I do pretty good with them. And this is where I raise the eggs. So I found that these shrimp right here are very good at eating fish eggs, and I didn't know that until now, but I used to throw just the eggs. I used to collect them out of this little cup right here and throw them directly in this tank. But then I stopped doing that because I would throw in like 30 eggs and I would get like 5 to hatch, and I was like, what happened to the other like 25? So I decided, okay, let's hatch them on here, and they hatch just fine in this little cup. They don't require any flow, nothing like that. The snails are fine too. The snails don't eat eggs at all. I just put them in this cup. I don't know if you can, I don't think you guys can see any, but there's eggs in here right now. But in a couple of days they'll hatch, and once they hatch, I'll throw them in this tank. And they're very hardy. The pH in this tank is drastically different than this tank, and the temperature's about the same though. So just make sure the temperature's the same, and the pH, I don't really see that I see they do fine with temperature. I mean pH. Just temperature. Just make sure the temperature is good. So they do fine. When they're really small, couple of days old, I just pull them out with a little syringe thing and basically drop them in this tank, and it works out really well. Most times I get 100% survival. Maybe sometimes I lose a couple of them, but most of the time I have really good luck with it. So this is the 3rd tank. This tank looks miserable. Honestly, the fish in here are really nice, and on camera it looks really dark, but it's, yeah. I don't know, this tank's kind of just brown right now. But the reason it's really brown is because I have no filter. To be honest, all I run is one air pump thing, which is why this tank looks so bad. So if I added like a big filter or something, it would look good. But I don't do any water changes in this tank either. I have a good 300 fish in here, I'd say, but all I do for nutrient export is these plants right here. Just a bunch of pothos and expensive tropical plants, just like random plants that I have. And they're really good at exporting nutrients. So you can see right here just the amount of fish in here. So like, it's really hard for me to do water changes. It's not that I'm lazy and I just don't want to do them. It's because I can't. Like whenever I do a water change, I would catch like 20 fish, and it would take me like an hour to get them back in the tank. And it's just, at that point, it's not worth it for me to do water change. It's like a 5-gallon water change. I can't even do it because there's too many fish. And they just get stuck in the water change, and they just get sucked out of the tank, which is a real pain. So if you guys want to learn how I maintain this tank and how to maintain a tank without really filters, and most of my tanks don't run filters. The only tank that runs a filter is the 30-gallon tank that you guys saw before. The rest of them have no filter. The Caridina shrimp have no filter. The Celestial Pearl Danios have no filter. Just an air stone, and it works really well for me. And it's honestly very simple. Just create an ecosystem that works well. And when you need to, you can do water changes. So, yeah. This tank just houses a bunch of black bar endlers. It has probably 300. So I actually got this strain 2 years ago on eBay. And this is basically my breeding for profit tank. It looks really bad, and I just kind of try to ignore it, because even though it looks bad, it's the reason I have everything else, to be honest. My saltwater, basically it's funded by this. I bring these fish in the store, or I sell them on eBay or locally, and they do really good. Honestly, they're super hardy. I've had these survive for over a month in the mail. Like, you might not believe me, but I shipped them out to some guy in the Midwest, and I think it was Illinois or somewhere around there. And I shipped them out to him, and USPS messed up, and they never got it to him. And basically, I shipped them out since USPS never brought them to the location, and they screwed it up. I sent him another package, and he got the fish. And like a month later, he sent me an email saying that he got the old package, and the fish were still alive, but they were really skinny. So these guys are super hardy, which is probably why they can take this. I wouldn't recommend doing like this many fish with no water changes and stuff with anything else like guppies or any other fish or shrimp at all. Just don't do it, because it probably won't work well. But because these guys are so hardy, it works well. And this tank's pretty clean. It doesn't have too much nutrients. Maybe like around 50 nitrate. It's not too bad, and it's pretty good. So yeah, it's a really easy tank. All I do is The plants just do all the work for me, and then I just have some airline. So this is my 4th tank, and it's just a bunch of black bar endlers, and it just looks brown right now. Usually it's green, but I stirred it up yesterday. I caught 60 or 70 fish yesterday out of this tank and brought them to the store to trade in. So I got some new corals and stuff. So if you guys like corals and saltwater, I'll do a video on that soon. So yeah. So this right here is my final tank. So this is more endlers. So this tank is a lot cleaner. This tank's actually a pretty rare strain of fish. Not that many people have it. At least I think not that many people have it because I haven't seen them for sale very often. But this is rainbow tiger endlers. So these have a really nice spade tail. Honestly, they're super nice. It's really nice yellow fish. And they do really well in here. Oh, here's one of the plecos. I have 3 super red bristlenose in here that I'm going to try to breed soon. But yeah, I had a issue with, oh yeah, as you can see, I have a lot more plants in here. Obviously, I'm kind of like into plants as well. My mom is as well. So yeah. So I used to have a issue with raising fry in here because the parents would eat the fry really bad. So I didn't really have fry in here for like 4 months, just like no fry. And then I finally added all these plants, and now I have like a ton of fry everywhere. They're mostly on the bottom. I don't know. I think you can see them. They're kind of small, but there's a lot of them in here. Probably have 60 fish in here, and then the plecos. So yeah, this is a 20-gallon tank. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this endler tank is also a 20-gallon tank. And don't do this, like, don't just put a bunch of fish in this tank just because I can do it. It doesn't really work like that. This tank's over 2 years old, well over 2 years old, so it's really established, and it's different. So don't do water change. Don't just skip doing water changes for no reason. Like, it's because I can't do them on this tank that I don't do them. So just don't go home and don't start not doing water changes and hope it goes well, because it won't. It just goes okay for this tank. So that's just a disclaimer. So yeah. Anyway, back to this tank. So it's really hard to find a nice yellow fish, and I think these guys are a nice replacement. I also like the spade tails a lot. They're more endlers. They're rainbow tiger endlers. And they're very simple, and they're super easy. And they look really nice. So yeah. This is the food I use for every single fish. All the fish I have get this food. So yeah, it works well. I've never actually had a fish that doesn't eat this food. And all the fish I have go nuts for it. So it's really good. It's actually a saltwater food, but I use it for freshwater, and it's the reason that I use it for freshwater is because it's all the fish like it, first of all, but it has like, it's higher quality. They add better ingredients. I think there's a lot of krill in here. Let me look at it. So like, here's the ingredients. Okay, never mind. There's no krill. I was wrong. But there's a lot of better ingredients, and it's a higher protein, and it's lower in nutrients. So for saltwater, basically they try to create foods with lower phosphate, and that's what I also want for freshwater. So I use this food, and it works really well for me. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please subscribe. If you guys have any questions, just comment down below and let me know. I'll try my best to answer all your questions. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you guys want, subscribe. If you guys like videos like this, just like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. Thank you guys for watching. Yeah.